Hello and welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, for a bit of Barca news, debate and conversation indeed. As we head now into this international break, what I thought we'd talk about today is some of Barca's improvement, and especially they're looking at the stats behind our start to the season. We're also going to be talking about Ousmane Dembélé, about his evolution, not only as a player, but also as a person. And we're also going to be talking in some detail about Jules Kounde's position so far at Barca, and especially what the long-term future holds for him in our defence. It is all coming your way. Plenty to discuss still. So come on, and let's do it. Because if we do indeed begin by talking about that very start now to the new season that we've had, we're entering here the first international break of the new campaign. A very, very important period that awaits us in October is just around the corner. But I think already in the season so far, what we can say for sure about Barca is that we've seen real improvement in the team, especially when talking about the new signings. We knew that over the summer we had to rebuild, we had to hit back after what was a really poor previous campaign, and I think we've done exactly that. And I think the new signings have hit the ground running. I think when you think about Lewandowski's goals, when you think about Kunde, we're going to talk about in defence, the way they've slotted in, the way they've adapted very, very early on in their Barca careers, things have been looking very promising indeed. And I do think even early on, after just 6 games of the new campaign, when you're comparing that there to last season, I mean, it's night and day. They're not even close here. We're talking about a completely different Barcelona team. Yes, we are second in the table right now to Real Madrid, but we've only dropped 2 points in that period. When you look here at the previous season, yes, a few of the teams around us had played one more game after round 6, but Barca there, they were already starting to lag behind. We'd already had 3 draws, and the worst in last season, it was still very much to come. And I think especially when you're looking at the stats, early days, like I said, but what you do have to point out there is not only the goals scored, which is absolutely incredible, by the way. We're already averaging 3 goals a game. That is ridiculous numbers there. 6 games, 18 goals in our favour so far. But it's not just that one for me, but it's that conceded column. Only so far have we conceded in the whole league season 1 solitary goal that came there against Real Sociedad, and we have been a lot more tight at the back. We've been a lot more focused there on keeping clean sheets, and that is the way that it simply has to be for any top team. But I think the improvement goes even further than that too, because obviously you can talk about the goals, you can talk about the performances, you can talk about the points that are on the board, but I also want to draw your attention here to the difference in the attendances at the Camp Nou, because this is something really important from a financial perspective here. When it comes to Barca competing at the very top, we needed people back inside the stadium again. We needed people to be excited about Barca. That is why Joan Laporta knew he had a massive summer where he had to make big decisions and where he simply had to rebuild this team, and that's what he's done. Because as you can see here, looking at last season, the attendances, and I've used the end of the season here as opposed to the start of last season, because obviously there was COVID restrictions back at the start, but you can see these are low numbers. For the Camp Nou, for a Barcelona game, these are numbers that really, it made us sad. You know, we felt empty, we felt without soul at the end of the season. The season was just dwindling away, and so were all of our hopes and excitement. But you fast forward now to this season, it's a completely different team. It's a completely different level of thinking at Barca right now. 81,000 in the opening day. That's unheard of for an opening day fixture. Followed up there, 83,000 against Valladolid, 77 in the Champions League, and the weekend's game against Elche, 85,000 fans. That there was the most attended game across any game in European football over the weekend. Absolutely incredible numbers there that's going to help us both on and off the field. And it just further highlights the improvements we're making. But if we do indeed now move on to talk about one of the players who has come in, has hit the ground running, has been a big part of all of that improvement that we are seeing, because I want to talk here about the debate and the conversation surrounding the position of Jules Kounde, because I found it very, very intriguing that whenever Kunday does an interview, and he's done a few since he arrived at Barcelona, it's very intriguing when he's asked there about his position, because ahead of the game in the Champions League against Victoria Pilsen, he was asked there about about playing at right back, how he felt about that role. Did he feel comfortable playing in that position? And he said, look, I feel good. There are things that I can improve in that area, but it doesn't make me uncomfortable to play there. But he did say, everybody knows that my position is centre-back, and I prefer to play at centre-back. But he said if the manager needs me there, then I don't have a problem to do that. But it's an interesting theme here that has continued. Kunday spoke just before this international break. Now again, he spoke again about that position. He said, playing as a right-back, I prefer to play as a centre-back. That's why I chose Barca, because I know that most of the time I'm going to be playing as a centre-back. And this basically has provided plenty of Barcelona fans with the question, well, what is the plan with Kunday? Is he going to get that wish to play at centre-back? Because it's really, really interesting, I feel, to look at the start that he's had at Barcelona. The way that he's played at right-back, it's been very impressive. When he has been in that area, he can do it. There's no doubt about that. He's been a very, very useful member of the squad in that area already, but Xavi has sort of tried to give him, whenever possible, minutes at centre-back too, because he might be starting games at right-back, but as you can see here, across those 5 appearances, those 5 starts, and all of the minutes that Kunday has played, there are times when later in the game, Xavi will make a sub, and he'll make a point then of playing Kunday at centre-back. So it's almost as though right now, we want you to be at right-back, we need you in that area, but we know that you prefer to be central. We know that's your position, and we're still trying to give you opportunities in that position, but we still need you at right back as well. That's the way that it feels right now from Xavi towards Jules Kounde. And I think the real question that I would have right now as a Barca fan looking at the way the start of the season has gone for Kunday is, what is the long-term plan with him and his position? Is it a case here now, we brought in Bellerin on deadline day, we're still, I feel, getting him up to speed, getting him ready and fully fit to be involved week in, week out with the games that we're playing? Is it a case of here, we're having Kunday in that role until Bellerin is fully ready to step in at right back, and also, of course, using Sergi Roberto in that role? Or is this going to be more of, he's going to have to see the season out there? For this season that we're in right now, Xavi has made Kunday aware that he is really going to need to fill in that role. He's going to need to do a job there for us and be as solid as he possibly can for the whole of this season, because then in the summer, we've spoken about this plenty of times already, I truly believe that we're going to be targeting a marquee right-back signing in the summer of 2023. So I'm just interested to know, guys, your thoughts right now. Do you feel as though Kunday is playing there for now, in terms of just a few weeks' time, we might see him at centre-back more regularly? In a few months' time, we're going to see him guaranteed to be at centre-back? Or do you think he's going to be there for the season? Or maybe even beyond as well? What are your takes on that? And what do you feel about the words that we're hearing from Kunday over these last weeks? And if we do indeed here move from one Frenchman to another, and both of these, by the way, are being called up to the French national team, that's absolutely brilliant for both of them. And that is not the only celebrating that Ousmane Dembélé has been doing over these past few days, because I've got to say here, huge congratulations to him, because he became a father in the early hours of Saturday morning. On match day, he became a dad, so huge congratulations to him on that, and of course his partner. And Xavi even admitted that after the game against Elche, that Dembélé told him, he didn't get much sleep coming into that game on Saturday. He really didn't get much rest at all, but Xavi said to him, well, can you play? Do you feel ready to play? And Dembélé said, I want to be there. I want to be out there playing and involved. And that is the kind of commitment that Xavi has gotten out of him, and that he'll be so, so proud that Dembélé has that will to be in this team. And I think obviously with Dembélé, we had the whole contract saga, we had all of that situation that I don't think anybody enjoyed. Nobody wanted that to play out in the way that it did with Dembélé, but that's something that we've been able to look past now, and I'm very glad about that. The camp now have received Dembélé so, so well during the season so far, and I just want to take a step back here and sort of zoom out in the way that over the last 12 months, Dembélé has really matured as a person. And I think especially when you're looking at his life away from the field, he got married, very much out of the spotlight. That was something that went very much under the radar. He's a very private person, it seems. It's exactly the same now when he's had a child. And I think certainly since Xavi's come in, he has really gotten himself in great condition again. He started to take it very seriously there in terms of looking after himself, making sure that he's fit, making sure that he's he's playing matches, and he enjoys being out there under Xavi on the field. And that is what we're seeing now. Every single week, a different Dembele, a mature Dembele, and I'm really excited to see in the coming campaign, of course, that he can continue on this path, that we can see from him a full season, top quality, full throttle now, that he's really got his life together. That is what he's done here. He is really putting everything together, and I'm happy for him. Long may it continue, because he is a player, of course, this season that can be definitely the difference maker for Xavi's team. So that right there, guys, is indeed some Barcelona news as it stands right now. Like I say, we are preparing all the time, having a bit of rest while we can ahead of that October period that is just around the corner. Please do let me know your thoughts on Barca's improvements, those attendance numbers, the increases that we're seeing, also Jules Kounde's position, and indeed Dembele, and the great news there over the weekend for him. Please let me know all that down below. I will be seeing you soon, of course, with more videos still. I hope you guys are doing well, but until next time, as always, Visca, El Barça.